Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and we are back with another pay-per-view roundtable discussion, this time for All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing 2020, the second edition of AEW Double or Nothing. This is the second edition of their first ever pay-per-view. I am joined here today by the connoisseur of all reporting himself, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon.
Since this is AEW, I put on my Santana Puerto Rican sleeve on. I don't know if you guys can notice.
Because he didn't want to be a bendejo. Uh,
Hopefully he can swim.
and and the new rating system, the co-host of the All Elite Recap, Mr. Marcus Cash. Absolutely.
His battery is dying. I don't know if you know.
Yes,
Battery.
I know it. It always is.
Yeah. If you were, I don't know what to tell you.
He's here to represent the All Elite Recap as we talk about AEW Double or Nothing. So we're going to start from the beginning at the buy-in all the way to the grand finale, the main event, the Stadium Stampede, probably one of the more polarizing or praised matches in pro wrestling in quite some time. We will end off with that. But before we get into anything, just a little quick reminder, drop that like on this video if you enjoy it. And of course, push the iCard down at the bottom to subscribe and the bell to stay notified for all the content right here on True Hill Heat. So, Romeo, as always, quarterback us away. Start us off.
We'll start with the pre-show. We watched the pre-show. It's only a half hour, not an hour. Best Friends versus Private Party, number one contendership for the tag team titles. Private Party wearing the SG armbands. Rest in peace, Shad Gaspard. And that wasn't the only tribute they did. They did the G9 Crime Time finisher. Very nice.
Awesome.
Trent's knee buckled. I thought he tore his ACL. I thought he was done. But give Trent credit. He finished it out. He hung in there. Not the smoothest match, but the Best Friends win with strong 0 in 15-21.
It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. You could tell that Private Party was working off a little bit of ring rust since they haven't been in the ring a lot. I think they've only had one match before this match, so the ring rust was showing a little bit there. Best Friends tried to hold it together as much as they could, but it showed a little bit here. I gave it 3 stars though. It was a good effort for what it was, but I just thought it was going to be a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a little sloppy on Private Parties end, so I agree with you on that. Nice to finally see them back in the ring though, because I've been missing Private Party in my life. I think they had like one or two dark matches, like you said, this whole time in quarantine, and they are the party, so they should have been throughout. I figure they just shoot them in there to get the Shad Gaspard tribute in, which is dope. I popped for the G9 like a child. I really dug that. But yeah, I like the Best Friends getting the win there. I guess as a little bit of a reward for how much they've been working through the quarantine era. I think it was reported what they did. They wrestled 4 times in a night or two or something like that for those tapings. So a nice little here you go for that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes next, even though I feel like we've already seen that match a couple weeks ago.
Well, I mean, that was a little bit of I guess a preview, and it gives a little bit of a storyline reason as well, regardless of them being number one contender. They held a victory over Kenny Omega in a tag team matchup. He just wasn't with Hangman Page, so I like that.
Yeah, it was a little slippery. So, I mean I fucks with it. Oh, for my rating, I apologize. I fucks with it.
That's his rating, as always.
Then we start the pay-per-view. Awesome video package to start the show. Giving thanks to all the essential workers. A little tribute to Shad Gaspard as well. The casino ladder match starts us off. 9 people. I just want to say right from the jump, I hate these rules. I hate them. You shouldn't be able to win this match until everyone is entered. But according to the rules, you could win this match before 7 other people come out. and I hate that. I hate the concept of that. The
Oh,
2-minute intervals is too long to me. It needs to be shorter if you're gonna do it. But what do you guys think? Not about the match, but the rules of the match.
I like the rules of the match, actually. I'm actually on the contrary. I dig it. It's a whole different concept. It was too many people would point to it and say, "Oh, it's their money in the bank. Oh, this, that's that." That's why they had to make it a different type of rules to it. The only thing I do agree with you with, 2 minutes is too long of intervals in between. I thought it was 90 seconds originally, which even then I thought that was a little bit too long. 60 seconds might be the more optimum amount of time in between intervals, in my opinion, if the match is going to be as long as it was here.
see, I love the rules, and I think I love them as is. Maybe 90 seconds, but at the same time, if you go 90 seconds, you rob yourself a little bit of other things. Like that Orange Cassidy bit was amazing. He took that
I
2 minutes.
I legit busted out laughing from the moment that Orange Cassidy came out and he went to commentary and asks them, "How do you win the ladder match?" And they say, "You have to climb the ladder." He's like, "I have to climb?" That
Yeah,
I lost my mind. I couldn't stop laughing.
And then he can't figure out how to set up the ladder, which is
yeah.
great.
So I think that's a great use of 2 minutes if you're creative enough, if you're decent enough in the ring, which for the most part their roster is. I think that works well, even with the 2 minutes as is. Especially thinking years down the line, you get a match where it ends before the ninth guy comes out, and now you've got a storyline where the guy who never even came out has a grudge with the guy that won the match, right? And that can build to a storyline. So I think that works, storyline wise as is, but also it plays up to their timer with the casino battle royals and stuff. So I think it's very apropos. I think it fits.
The big surprise of this match, Mr. Vacant, is Brian Cage, the Machine.
Yes.
SB3, you completely forgot that the rumors that he was gonna sign with AEW. It had been so long ago.
It been so
Out of
long.
nowhere.
It was out of sight, out of mind. That everybody that you would instantly think for the spot, you would think from the Black Wednesday, the WWE releases, or Revival, or anyone that came from WWE. That was so prominent in the news that this was a perfect time to bring in Brian Cage because nobody really saw it coming.
And
Yeah.
Brian Cage with Taz, I should mention.
Yeah.
And I love that addition because they set it up perfectly over the last couple of weeks because it was like, where is this going with this whole Taz interviewing Darby and Darby blowing him off, and you could see Taz kind of getting pissed off by the way Darby is like kind of nonchalantly like blowing him off, and it leads up to this, and Brian Cage destroys Darby after Darby already destroyed himself with the spot of the entire match, that dive off the top, the very top of the ladder. He didn't go like how there's a couple of other people, they go to like one of the rungs, one of the top rungs. No, he stood on the top of it with the skateboard, dived with the skateboard down through the ladder bridge and missed Kazarian, and sold his knee beautifully. And that's why it was like perfect timing that he was climbing the ladder before Brian Cage came out. It was just a lot of the stuff here was perfectly timed. That's why I will give it for like the 90-minute intervals. Maybe it was because of that. But I think it can also work with like the 60-minute intervals as well. I mean, 60-second intervals, excuse me.
Yeah, I to touch on both points, completely over my head with Brian Cage. In general, I know they reported he signed officially back in January, but he was injured. Totally forgot. I had all my bets on Drew Gulak because he didn't have a no compete clause, so I thought Gulak was gonna pop in there. Um, the Taz thing, I'm curious to see because you know I think from what I've seen of Brian Cage, he can talk just fine. I don't think he needs a mouthpiece.
Mm,
Well, fine enough, but it's to add Taz. I'm curious, right? I would have been interested in seeing Taz and Darby reluctantly pairing up together. Um, but nonetheless, I very intrigued. Definitely spot of I think the night, not just a match with the Darby spot with the skateboard. To touch on your point there. So, Uh, damn good show. Can I just say I love that they went all in and started off with SCU against each other.
SC Boo!
I thought that was a nice touch. It was like, are they gonna work together? Nope, right the hell out the window.
They brought a lot of the in-ring psychology to this matchup with the storytelling, with them kind of like with the whole Joey Janela hitting Kaz with the steel chair and him thinking that it was Scorpio Sky, like certain stuff like that. They did it beautifully. I loved Kip Sabian using Penelope Ford as well as Jimmy Havoc during the matchup. He added a lot. Luchasaurus running wild with his kicks and being like that dominant force. The showdown between him and Cage was one of the highlights of the match as well. So everybody kind of like shown in this matchup very well. Even Joey Janela kind of with his dive as soon as he came out, like it allowed him to stand out. The only person that I would have said didn't stand out was Colt Cabana, but then he had one of the best sells of the whole match when he fell and the ladder freaking smashed his fingers and he was
Yeah, that looked
that
rough.
was yeah, that was. I know it had to hurt, but his sell of it was even better.
The match ends. Darby Allin, he's flat on the ladder. Brian Cage picks up the ladder, throws it outside. Cage wins in 28-25. He is a number one contender for the World Championship. Do you think, out of all the choices here, Brian Cage was the best choice?
Yeah, because even when we looked at the field on the All Elite recap, the last episode, the Go Home episode, as well as on True Hill Heat, we kind of looked at the rest of the field and we were all like, all these guys would be good to go against Jon Moxley, but none of these guys feel hot enough. They don't feel like they have enough momentum. Even someone like Darby Allin, he's kind of been slowed down. He's had a couple of losses. He hasn't been on TV that much. Scorpio Side had his little vignettes, but he hasn't really been on TV as much. But those would be the two I would have said like were the top people to win if it wasn't for Brian Cage being in this match. So him coming out, it was just perfect timing. I think the partnership with Taz really works because Brian Cage to me only has his voice when he's a babyface. When he's a fired up babyface, he's the machine that the fans can rally behind. As a heel, he's never really had that voice to me. He's kind of always came off like a generic monster villain where he needed that kind of his like Paul Heyman. And I think that Taz is going to be very useful in that source in getting him heat as far as like as a heel, as a top heel in AEW.
Yeah, I thought Darby would have won it, but when I saw Cage come out, I think that was the way to go because that's the impactful debut, right? You can't have, especially looking the way he looks, this guy come out and then not like come out the gates like a raging bull. So strap the rocket to his back and take off. Do you guys have any lowlights for the match?
Anytime Marco Stunt is a child is involved in a professional wrestling match, I groan.
Yeah, especially when there's a vertically challenged ladder involved as well. For a double chokeslam. Fucking yuck.
Oof. Oh.
Like, I don't want to quote Cornette, but god damn it. God damn it. I don't let AEW succeed, but what in the hell?
My only low light is I felt like it was too long. I felt like a lot of the ending was a little bit off because of the length of it. Like the longer it went, you saw a couple of more mistimed spots and botches. But overall, this was a fun, very, very good matchup. I give it 3 3/4 stars.
I definitely fucks with it. However, I think I super fucks with it because I now want to go find that suit that Jimmy Havoc had. That suit was amazing.
It was clean for Jimmy.
Yeah, even blood was fantastic. So super fucks with it.
The next match, a matchup of up and coming AEW stars MJF versus Jungle Boy. This match was pretty awesome. Holy shit.
Holy shit! Like the matchup that exceeded expectations the most, and these two guys went out there and worked their asses off for 20 minutes. Had one of the most old school babyface versus heel matchups. Like you could put this matchup in 1990, you could put this matchup in 1980, and they would be blown away by the athleticism of Jungle Boy, by the skill and the mastery of professional wrestling that is MJF, but it wouldn't be out of place because that was so old school of a match. That was the most old school match that AEW has had since Cody versus Dustin, in my opinion. And these guys went out there, and if it wasn't for what we'll talk about with the main event, this stole the show.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to slightly touch on what you just said, Sid. I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to say this was the best wrestling match of the night.
Yes, I agree with you.
It is absolutely the best wrestling. Maxwell, Jacob Freeman, AEW doesn't deserve him. Nobody deserves him. We don't deserve him. He is fantastic at everything he does. I am notorious for my indifference towards Jungle Boy Jack Perry. However, very pleasantly surprised. He shocked the hell out of me, So I was thoroughly entertained. I wouldn't mind seeing this singular Jungle Boy Jack Perry continuing his ascent up the ladder. And I think you made a mention of it separately. Jungle Boy and MJF could be like what you said, Triple H and Rock, as they were that feud, as they were from mid card to the main event.
And another WWE analogy that I thought of after our conversation on a recap, we talked about them like kind of being like their own class with MJF, Darby, Sammy Guevara, and Jungle Boy. And Jungle Boy kind of being fourth in that line. And you kind of making the comparison to them being the Golden State Warriors and him being Draymond Green. But I think a better comparison is to the WWE and their most famous four-person class, the OVW famous class, which when you remember it, number one was the NCAA heavyweight champion, Brock Lesnar. Number two was the guy who had the it factor that when you saw him, you were like, wow, Batista. Number three was the second generation star, Randy Orton. And number four, the fourth in line, was actually the guy who became the biggest star, Mr. John Cena.
All right, I'm off the Jungle Boy wagon again. That is an outrageous comparison. I thought you were going to compare him to Shelton Benjamin. Great athleticism.
Outside of his league, too, though.
Great athleticism, no personality whatsoever. I think Shelton's a little more apropos. Yeah, definitely, folks. This the best wrestling match of the night, and one that I've seen in a while, actually.
That spot though, the reverse Rana on the apron, my God, I thought Maxwell broke his neck or had a concussion because he landed on the crown of his head on the edge of the ring. That was just like, it's like, why? The match didn't need that, but it was just like, that's probably the most memorable spot of the match though.
But he sold the hell out of it. It was fantastic. But what about the hammerlock he did with his teeth?
Yes.
That was fantastic. He held it to the 5.
His work on the arm throughout this match was innovative. It was just, he just kept it entertaining, even though he was like working the heat on the arm. And then the Jungle Boy just sold it masterfully. He made, if there was fans there, this one would have been over even more than it was with us.
Yeah.
I want to say with that reverse Rana on the apron, somewhere in Japan, Ibushi and Naito are smiling.
they're like, oh, those sweet boys.
I missed that.
Those sweet American boys representing us from kind. And Osprey too. Osprey's like, oh man, I wish I was that.
A note on Jungle Boy. I know we're waxing poetically about Jungle Boy, but I have a little gripe with Jungle Boy. I'd like to see the chop eliminated from his repertoire. Some people just just can't chop. Don't disrespect Ric Flair like this. I take it very personally. I may be the only one with this opinion, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Anyways, MJF
And you think
wins.
right too, because that's how you gotta get through the jungle.
Oh, you know what? That's such a good point. I still don't want to see him chop anymore. MJF wins with a pinning combination, 17-34. Did the right person win? I agree.
This was one where I don't think they could have gone wrong either way. I felt like Jungle Boy needed this win, but at the end of the day, this keeps MJF on his winning streak, and it keeps them towards the AEW World Title and the match I really want to see, which is MJF versus Moxley. And a note on that finish, I love the finish to this matchup because it looked like Jungle Boy was going to pull off the upset, and he reverses it, and he doesn't just reverse it with his own roll-up. He holds on to the good arm because he knows he can't lift up the bad arm to get the pin. That was just psychology 101. This was just great storytelling in this matchup. I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely a super fucks fit. And
Actually, after our review, I give it 4 1/4. 4 1/4.
Ooh, you threw a quarter in there.
I threw a quarter in there. It was a really great match. 4 1/4 stars.
And in terms of the decision, yeah, not only should MJF have won this match, off the top of my head, I can't name a single person in AEW I want to see defeat MJF yet. So I want to see
high praise
rematch, unless he's going against Dr. Baker for whatever reason. Then it's a toss up, But at that point, no.
And then it's time for the first inaugural winner of the TNT Championship. It's Cody versus Archer, and of course, Mike Tyson is presenting the very controversial title belt, the incomplete TNT Championship. Quick thoughts on the incomplete TNT Championship that they mentioned still has to have some gold plating, and it's not ready yet.
It needs to go off. Number 1, fucking yuck. Ill. I guess I kind of get the red belt because it's TNT and the channel's red logo and all that. I get that. I would have personally gone with a black strap and then an actual TNT logo, where instead of just the letters that kind of looks like a Mayweather lettering almost.
Now, is this supposed to pay homage to the old NWA Television Championship?
Yes.
I'm gonna touch on that, but yes, I think it is. But I would have done black strap. I would have done the TNT inside the circle, like their actual freaking logo. Maybe that's in red, like the freaking channel is. I think the red belts is a little jarring, especially considering a couple years ago everybody was shitting all over the Universal title because what is this red hideous monstrosity on my television screen? If the belt's not finished in the first place, you shouldn't be presenting it. Push that shit off, do an injury angle, do whatever it is you need to do, or, I don't know, maybe have the tournament when the damn belt is ready.
I mean, I get wanting to have this matchup now, wanting to have something to present them, but when your first words about the title is explaining that, oh no, it's not ready just yet, it's probably not a good idea to present the title.
And obviously, we should mention that it's not ready because of everything that's going on in the world with COVID and all that stuff.
Which is understandable, but it's like, I had rather you, like, not have the title.
Hey, Mike Tyson's on a strict schedule here. I don't know.
I get it. Mike Tyson had to present something.
Who will be on this week's Dynamite, by the way, actually.
Yes, I am ready for that. Oh, probably to present the real title, maybe. I liked his entrance leading into Lance Archer's entrance and Lance Archer killing someone again, and Mike Tyson's face being GIF worthy. It was awesome.
Yes, Mike Tyson. Let's talk about Mike Tyson in this match. They cut to him, the camera on Mike Tyson, almost after every single move. That really bothered me. I don't know about you guys. They even catch him yawning. Oh my god. There's a gift for you.
It's like, how did you not catch that? To not put the camera on him at that moment. This was a sign that you were putting the camera on him too much.
I think it took a little bit away from the match between Archer and Cody. Cody with all the moves, all the stops, cutter off the top rope, bionic elbow, the final cut, the Stinger splash, which people are talking about, very suspicious of the Stinger splash, with the rumors of Sting coming to AEW. I think on commentary they even mentioned that Sting was Cody's favorite wrestler growing up.
Yep. He's always wanted a match with Sting. One note I want to say is, speaking of audience, speaking of people in the audience that deserve the highlight, that deserve the camera on them, the MVP, one of the MVPs of this whole pay-per-view, one of the MVPs. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I want to hear who it is.
Oh, yes, the one, the only, former star of True Heels, BTR, between the ropes, Big Swole. Big Swole.
I agree.
He was the MVP of everyone in the audience. She was the pro babyface representative of us professional wrestling fans at Double or Nothing. Like, she was just perfect with all her reactions with everybody, from Nyla Rose to Lance Archer to MJF.
Did you hear what she said in the MJF one?
What did she? Oh yeah. When he got the reverse run, and she said she got knocked the fuck out.
I think she said hell, but that's where she got it from.
Yeah. But
stuff.
Man, she was awesome. She was awesome in the audience. Bravo, Big Swole. Like, she said it on Twitter. She was like, I was a fan before I was a wrestler. Like, and she definitely represented that well at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I agree. Big Swole, also my MVP in terms of fan participation.
That's how you do it.
I also agree. Definitely cut to Tyson a bit too much on the cameras. Agree with you there. Honestly, I was a little bit over this match when it became the finals for the TV title in the first place. You've got this blood feud, and we're sexually assaulting my wife, and we're putting a snake on her, and we're laying her out, and we're doing all these things, and I pseudo killed your brother. But it's the title. The title's what's important. Like, the title could have been anything else, and you could have had this blood feud. It felt like, I don't know, like forced almost, that it just happened to be for this mid-card title that's going to be number 2 in the rankings. So I was kind of over it already. The belt doesn't help. Tyson yawning definitely didn't help. Like, I found myself going to get snacks during this match.
I agree with Cash, most definitely. They put a little bit too much in this, which I get in context. I get, trying to make this a blood feud to make the importance of the title even bigger. But by doing all of that to make it so personal, it took away from the title. It was like you were feeding yourself and then cutting a hole open at the same time. So all the food was falling out. Like, it was like, it didn't make sense. Like, one was hurting the other. So I felt like that kind of hurt my anticipation of the matchup. I will say the matchup I felt was too long as well, and I felt like a lot of it was unnecessary, like Jake the Snake Roberts distracting the referee so Arn Anderson can interfere, then a referee coming out and saying Arn interfered. The only part of that was enjoyable was Mike Tyson's like, get him out. I love that. That was awesome. Mike Tyson owned in that moment. But other than that, it was just, and then Jake the Snake Roberts coming back out with the snake, and then Mike taking off his shirt, holding him back. Like, it just felt like it was like,
Mike loves showing off that good physique now he's got.
And then we talked about on AE Recap how they, the finishers, the kick out of finishers is kind of like one of the complaints about AEW right now. But I don't think it's like a kick out of finishers. It's the freaking Crossroads. The Crossroads I don't know why Cody has decided, because he, AEW, you have more creative freedom. You can make your matches. I don't understand why Cody has decided he wants his finisher to be meaningless. Why it takes 2 to 3 crossroads for everyone. And then even when it takes 3 crossroads and someone kicks out, when you finish Lance Archer with 3 crossroads, it's like you kind of diminish the monster push that he got because other people have kicked out of the crossroads. Like it's like, man, it was very frustrating this matchup. This matchup, I gave one of my lowest ratings so far of any of the matchups. I gave it 2 3/4. It was decent, but it was definitely below the expectations that I had going in.
Yeah, I didn't fucks with it. Um, it's the crossroads, which I love as a move when people of Cody size use it. I hate Damian Priest using it on the other show, for example. Um, but it's been so diminished that even Cody doesn't try to beat you after one. Like he knows it sucks so bad now that he crossroads into another crossroads, maybe a third crossroads, because he knows the first one's not going to finish it. That's ridiculous. Or did you fall in love with your springboard cutter or your 87 other moves all of a sudden that you just said the hell with this move? That's a WWE move. I don't get it. Don't do it if you're gonna bastardize it so much. I'm almost hating the Crossroads more than the Canadian Destroyer right now. That's how bad the Crossroads has gotten.
I kind of still want to see Cody and Archer go at it with the story just on them instead of Mike Tyson. Are you guys done with this feud, or do you want to see more?
I wouldn't mind a lack of rules match, no holds barred, or some variant of last man standing, or something where, oh right, I remembered, I'm pissed off about my wife.
Yeah, and in this match, I will say the one positive I will say about the match, definitely they left, like I've been saying a lot, they left a little meat on the bone where they could go back to this feud. They didn't the match was too long, but they didn't give away too much in the match where I would say like, okay, I'm over this match completely. No, I think that like Cash says, if they had like a no DQ match, even a cage match, if Cody wants to jump off a moonsault in front of nobody, jump off a cage in front of nobody. I mean, sure, but hey, I think they have a stipulation match in them.
Next, we have Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford replacing the GOAT, Dr. Britt Baker. Stat wins in 8 minutes and 12 seconds with the Big Bang Theory. Any notes on this match?
Can we get Penelope Ford back to training? Like, I love Penelope Ford. Don't get me wrong. I love Penelope Ford. The fact that she's my fourth favorite diva, women's superstar on AEW.
So offensive.
Speaks to, well, to be fair, with the way she watches, she's more diva than she is a women's wrestler at the moment. But yeah, it speaks to how great I love the women's roster, which most people don't for whatever reason. But she has 3 to 5 obscene botches every match at this point, and it's damn concerning. And when it's gonna make the Galaxy's greatest, Chris Statlander, look bad because you're fucking up, I'm gonna so
And Chris is not blameless here. She's a little green herself. She's not as she well, yeah, that too. But she's not as polished as she could be. But I thought that this was like probably the worst match of the night. No, we'll get to the worst match of the night. But this was actually I felt like towards the end they kind of got together a little bit better and made this okay. So I gave this 2.5 stars.
wow, you liked it more than the Cody match.
No, I gave Cody 2 3/4.
Oh, I thought it was 2 1/4.
That's okay. That's insane, SB3.
Yeah.
This you gotta bump that Cody score up a little bit at least, I think.
No.
Or bump this up lower. This is
Yeah.
not close in quality.
Yeah, I kind of think they are. They are pretty close in quality.
And who's that more? I guess that's saying more about Cody and Archer. Jeez.
Yeah, I think that's more offensive to Statlander because Statlander is the best out of all 4 of them. So, I mean, she's the galaxy's greatest. So there's that.
Did you fucks with this?
I
Go ahead, say it.
I don't. I fucks with
That's right.
mute. If it's on mute, I fucks with it a lot. But it was rough. I went to go get snacks during the Cody match. I went to just like play with my phone and do a bunch of other things during this match. Like it was just, I was there, I was in front of it, but I was like, no, it's what's happening on Versus right now. So
and little did you know, you would have more time to do whatever you'd like, because next up was Shawn Spears versus Dustin Rhodes, and I was like, damn, why did they put 2 bathroom breaks back to back? I mean, you gotta spread them out a little bit at least. Oh, three for you.
Oh, come on. The Cody match wasn't that bad. Sheesh.
I think he's talking about the match after, maybe. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
He better not be.
He
He better not be, because that's gonna be my second biggest above expectations of this card. But yes,
slow down.
Shawn Spears versus Dustin.
Let's talk about Tully Blanchard being on Shawn Spears' underwear.
All I gotta say, AEW tries to give us a little bit of everything. This was the comedy portion of the card. It missed bad and trash. That's all I got.
You know why? Because Goldust is not funny. You can't put Goldust in the funny match. He hasn't been funny since he had a stuttering problem.
I don't like Shawn Spears. I met him once. I met him and Charlotte at the same time. I took a picture with him. I cropped Ty Dillinger out. So that's all you got to know about Shawn Spears.
First of all, how dare you? Because he is.
By the way, I brought flowers for Charlotte, and some guy had the nerve to ask, "Oh, where's the flowers for Ty?"
That's a fair question.
Fuck Ty Dillinger.
Fuck
him.
Ty Dillinger was amazing.
Ty Dillinger would fuck Shawn Spears up in a match.
No, he wouldn't. Shawn Spears would murder him.
Ty Dillinger never had Tully Blanchard on his underwear that we know of.
Ty Dillinger, everybody says, oh, he was a bad call-up. He wasn't even nothing in NXT. Was everybody like under a rock?
He was over. He was over.
He was over for being a loser.
He was the
Shawn Spears is a loser this night.
He was the perfect 10. He's not anything now. He's the self-appointed chairman who can't even find a
4.4.
Can't even find a tag team partner on Twitter. I'm over this Shawn Spears. I love Shawn Spears Network. I love that. I hope that's a thing. His facial reaction when he played Dustin's music and looked back at the camera, like the gotcha, the aha, brilliant. Should have ended it there. That counted to 10, and we got the hell on home, because just fucking train off the rails, and my inner what is this indie mud show backyard bullshit just starts creeping out when I see this Goldust coming up from behind, and now he's painting 6/10 of his face now. I don't know if that's going to be his gimmick. When is his whole face going to be finished?
Come on, let's not call him Goldust.
Does he deserve to be called anything else? He's
Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes, his actual name.
He stinks.
Man. Only thing I could say positive about this match, Shawn Spears played his role well.
Yes, and it is damning that he was saddled with Dustin Rhodes pay-per-view match.
But he seems to be the only guy who came from WWE that hasn't upgraded or leveled up.
Dustin Rhodes, I agree.
No, Shawn Spears. Cut it out. Can we move on?
Been fucking awful.
We get a commercial for All Out September 5th. No location announced. And look who was in the commercial. This guy, along with Drunk Guy JJ. What a cameo.
Being Marks at All Out.
Marks.
All Out last year at the Sears Center. Yes, I was in the All Out commercial.
You guys were on camera?
Yeah. We were on camera at All Out, and we were in the commercial for All Out this year.
I gotta watch it again. I might be there too.
So for anyone who doesn't watch All Elite Recap or just watching this pay-per-view Roundtable, yes, Marcus Cash is very into himself. We saw SP3 in a commercial. Oh, I gotta look for myself.
I miss it. I gotta rewatch it. I see commercials. That's time to do other things. So now I have a reason to rewatch. I'm excited.
Quick question on All Out. Do you see it taking place at Daly's place, or do you think they'll try to get something going of the location? It's still far away. It's still September.
I think Daly's place with fans because it is Florida.
Well, from what my sources tell me with WWE, the soonest that WWE will be in front of a live audience is October. All Out is in September, so I think it's going to be at Daly's place. But as long as they can give us a hook like they did for Double or Nothing, I think they will be fine.
Next up, we have the AEW Women's Championship on the line. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. What a match. Am I the only one thinking this? What a match.
What? It's like, how does
Surprisingly good.
How does Nyla Rose keep surprising us? Like, I think after a while, we're just going to be like, okay, Nyla Rose against a good worker. Oh, that's going to be a great match. Like, we're just going to have to just assume that now because this is now, 3-4 times this has happened. She did it twice with Rio on the debut episode of Dynamite, and then when she won the title earlier this year, and now against Shida, her first one-on-one match against Shida, and these ladies went out there and just... They tried to steal the show, honestly. They beat the crap out of each other all around ringside. They used tables. Sheeta got thrown into the poker table, which was awesome. Probably my highlight of this whole entire matchup.
That kendo stick to the head.
Or the kendo stick to the head, breaking the kendo stick over the head of Nyla Rose. Like, it was, I was watching it with someone who's not a very ongoing fan, a regular fan of AEW, and even them was like, okay, I don't know how I feel, Nyla Rose, but they got sucked into the matchup because the matchup was so gripping. Like, you rooted for Shida to overcome the monster that was Nyla Rose,
and she did it.
And she did it. She just kept kneeing the hell out of Nyla Rose until she got the victory. Well done by Shida. This is a well-deserved championship win for her. She's been holding it down for the women's division ever since this pandemic has started. Nyla Rose, once again, with another great matchup. So it adds to her resume. Both ladies came out of this looking better. This was an A+ all around. I gave this match 4 stars. This was one of the reasons why I had to bump up MJF and Jungle Boy, because I remembered this match kind of was so great. I had to give it 4 stars, but I had to give that 4.25 because it was a little bit better. But this one was great.
And great emotion from Shida afterwards. There might have been some real emotion there, considering what happened with Hana Kimura. R.I.P. to her.
I love this match. This is my second favorite match of the night. My second favorite wrestling match of the night. The outside spots ran a bit long, but it's something that didn't fit. It worked. Nyla, like you said, continues to surprise me. I gave Nyla a bunch of shit. I still do. I always will. But damn good performer for Nyla Rose nonetheless. Shida as well, damn good performer. Shocked, I would say, to see Nyla win, because I would imagine this dominant champion for a long title reign. But when you think about it, Nyla kind of doesn't have anybody else to face in terms of faces. So I guess it makes sense for the title switch to Shida, because now you'll have some heels to work with chasing Shida for the belt. Dr. Grit Baker comes to mind in 2 months.
I was going to say, the money matchup seems to me to be Shida versus Goat Baker, especially after their great matchup that they had on Dynamite, where Shida bloodied Goat Baker up.
Yeah.
Are we going to see Statlander Shida?
I would love that as well. I feel like Statlander has a little bit of heel in her. Like, she's got that build where she could play. I think she could play a good heel.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm down for that.
Next up, we have the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley, Brody Lee. Good match. We saw a paradigm shift through the ramp. I got shades of Bam Bam and Taz, ECW. And Brody Lee comes out of that with blood. We've got color. I thought Brody was looking like Bruiser Brody with that blood. Oh my goodness. And the match ends with Moxley rear naked choke. Brody passes out in 15 minutes, 34 seconds.
I think the best thing I can say about this match is kudos to them for protecting Brody. He eats all of the head damage with paradigm shift, paradigm F, paradigm everything. And he has to choke out and not submit, just pass out to unfortunately lose his AEW World title.
I think like the mark of a great world title match is the ability of a champion to make their challenger look better than how he looked going in, even though the challenger loses. And that's what Jon Moxley did at Double or Nothing. That was a great matchup. It was hard hitting. It was everything you would think Brody Lee versus Jon Moxley, not Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose, where they had to make a comedy where they had to do a chase around all that when they booked it there. This one was hard hitting. It was brutal. It was a brawl all over. But I just got to give it up to Jon Moxley because he just seems like a man possessed. He just seems like he wants to work to make every single match to beat out of every single fan's brain the memory of Dean Ambrose. That's how he just seems like he is working like that is his mission every single matchup, especially on pay-per-view.
Yeah. I get it.
I gotta say, initially I didn't like the finish right away, but that's just because I'm conditioned to not see a finish like that. The announcers stress it's a ref stoppage, so they're protecting Brody as best as they can without AEW doing a dirty finish.
Absolutely, and they've been consistent with that ever since the beginning of the company. They find a way to make guys over with losses. You don't have to do the non-finish to protect people. So they are now trying to condition us as professional wrestling fans to remember that.
I do want to add, though, that despite that, I think Brody Lee needs to come back from this quickly. He needs to get his heat back quickly. What do you guys think about that?
I think I want to rooting because I don't know if I want to see him go up again like in the next couple of weeks because then that's another loss because obviously you're building up for Cage versus Moxley. I wouldn't mind seeing Brody Lee brooding in the background, maybe taking it out on Stu and Uno and Ten and things like that. Maybe Cody pisses him off and he wants to take that hideous TNT championship and then he makes it disappear. And then when the belt is actually ready, it's Brody Lee that presents the new proper TNT title.
I could see this working out a number of different ways for Brody Lee. I definitely think you're right. He needs to get his heat back. I think the perfect feud for that is we touched on this on the last time I was on with Cash and Jimmy. I think Scorpio Sky, they with those vignettes, they kind of seem like they were positioning him to be separated off from SCU, and I think he's the perfect guy to feud with Brody Lee right now, which he wouldn't be like. He doesn't lose anything by losing to Brody Lee. So that's why I think he's the perfect person to feud with Brody Lee for Brody Lee to get his heat back. I can also see them going the angle of Dark Order was number one in the ranking, and they weren't even in the number one contendership for the tag team titles. I could see them leading to like a Dark Order versus the Elite versus Omega and Page, maybe even the Young Bucks. I could see it going a number of different ways, especially with the outcome of the main event. I could see Dark Order kind of going towards SCU or the Elite after this.
The second main event, Inner Circle versus the Elite in a stadium stampede. match. This is the talk of all wrestling Twitter. What a fucking spectacle! Oh my, the greatest stampede I've ever seen in my life. Awesome entrances. The Elite are just too cool to wear matching football jerseys like the Inner Circle did. No helmets for them. No Hangman at first. Hangman comes in on a fucking horse. Awesome.
They wrestled and the match all started off with them on opposite sides, and they basically had a kickoff, and they met in the middle, and like the bodies just go everywhere, and because they're wrestlers in a football stadium where falls count anywhere in the stadium, no. Because they're wrestlers, they find themselves in the little 16 by 16 ring in the middle of the stadium, and they started having a match. Like, they started doing spots. Everybody hits their finisher at once. Sammy comes from being chased
Takes another twist of fate.
Sammy comes from being chased by Hangman. He's like, I'm back, guys. And the freaking cheerleader starts cheering, Sammy, Sammy. He does a shooting star press. Of course, he misses. He, of course, has to take the twist of fate because he takes the best twist of fate. And they then go out of the ring, and then that's when it just breaks off into
chaos.
Complete
Several matches in one.
I love the matching jerseys. I love the number representation on the jerseys. I thought that was a nice little story. I think it was JR that threw in. He explained Jericho. He explained Guevara. I don't know if I missed it. He didn't explain Pride and Powerful, but their jerseys were
self-explanatory. 5150.
5150. So fantastic. The running to the middle, I get why they had to go into the ring, right? That's what they're accustomed to. That's what they're used to. That's where they've got the ropes, right? So that's their comfort zone before all hell breaks loose. Sammy Guevara is the only reason I want to see the Twist of Fate anymore. I hate that move with an utter blinding passion, but he lands on the top of his head every time, and it's amazing every time. So I love that.
One note that a lot of people didn't catch, I think someone just recently caught it on Twitter, and Santana confirmed, yeah, that's what I was going for. As they're in the football stadium, they're in the main portion. To go backstage, Santana does an Irish whip like he's back in No Mercy N64, like he has to brace
Great
up.
game.
Like, that's how you have in every wrestling video game, you have to Irish whip your opponent to the backstage area, and that's what he did. And he was like, yeah, that's what I was going for. Thanks for catching it. So I have to say bravo on that. That's an awesome little detail.
Yeah. That definitely was a nice touch. I think that went over my head as well, so I'll be on the lookout for that when I rewatch. And I think the very beginning of it too, when they're like, oh man, did Hangman stand us up again? Oh, what the hell? And then he came on the horse. Yeah, I pop like hell for that also. So
this was the perfect time to do it. I mean, it's taped. You got all that room. Bring in the horse.
Yeah.
And I love Ross. I love the commentary during this as well. The Jim Ross saying, "Oh, if I ever get lost, remind me not to ask Hangman to go and find me."
Who said that? Jim Ross?
Jim Ross. I'm positive about Jim Ross.
Jim Ross got a lot of heat for his commentary on the show.
He's been on fire this pay-per-view. Jim Ross was at his best.
But he got a lot of heat. I didn't have a problem with JR.
I did not have a problem with JR.
A lot of people saying they did not like Jim Ross for the show.
Jim Ross was at his best. I don't think I've liked Jim Ross since he started AEW, but this was definitely his finest performance in AEW. Like, he was excited. We're on pay-per-view, and they gave me an actual wrestling match tonight. I'm going to give it my all. So he was on his shit. He was keeping up with all the chicanery and horse shit that was going on with the Stampede match. And it was fantastic. Can I just say in advance, I was making references to my favorite wrestling matches. This is obviously not that. However, this is one of the things I have enjoyed the most in any organized thing containing wrestlers / sports entertainers / performance artists that I think I've ever seen. Definitely in a long time, but it's I don't remember feeling that giddy since before I had facial hair.
Honestly, this was the most fun. And I said this during about the Dynamite episode with the street fight between Omega and Broken Matt versus Sammy Guevara and Y2J. And then I said that because of that match, it made me excited for the Stadium Stampede. And after watching it, I could say this was the greatest cinematic matchup of all time.
Yeah. And my hope is that the E realizes they can't beat that and they never try again. So,
I'm
Doubt
afraid
it.
I've got some bad news.
yeah.
How about the spot with Ortiz and Santana? Santana and Matt Hardy are in the pool. And Santana asks Ortiz, come help me. Ortiz says he can't swim. It's 3 feet deep. Santana calls him a pendejo.
Don't be a bad now. Absolutely. Before that, though, that monster spot where they give Omega a front suplex on the guardrail, and they have the guardrail propped on these little bar tables, and they stand up on the bar tables and give their double team power bomb, and the guardrail bends, and Omega goes through it. I was like, God damn, Omega, you had to bring that DDT shit over here, because that was just a brutal spot in this whole. That was probably the most brutal spot in this whole match. Well, outside of the finish, of course. But I know that they got a little bit of heat for this portion of the matchup with Matt Hardy drowning. But a lot of the heat and the people that I see online, they legitimately say before they say, "Oh man, I think it was wrong of them to do it on the week of Chad Gaspar." I agree with you. Maybe they should have thought twice about it, or like maybe they shouldn't have had. I feel like the one part of it they shouldn't have had was Matt kind of pretending like he drowned at the end behind him before he rose up.
You could easily edit that out.
Maybe that part you edit that out, but the whole part with them drowning him, you had to not see it to complain about it, because literally they
Hilarious.
showed camera shot with him like transforming into his different personalities. And as well, the whole drowning of them in the lake of reincarnation is something that's been a part of Matt's gimmick for now 4 years. It's like, you're now complaining about this? Like, come on, people. We got better things to complain about. There's a lot more things we could complain about besides that, but I just felt like it was worth noting.
And on that note, if I could mention, sorry about the car alarm and going off outside my window here, but Chad Gaspar died. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, he's a hero, right? All those things are true. But we're watching this match for whatever it is. Why are we thinking A, about anybody not in the match, and B, real life tragedies when this is what's going on here? Why are we over analyzing and over breaking down everything? Could they have done without the underwater camera? Perhaps. But,
no, I like that portion. Made it the comedy to me.
Right? Again, right? Either way. You can go either way. I didn't mind it. Right? I can go either way on it. I didn't mind it. But I also was enjoying the moment for the moment. I'm not over here like, oh man, how could they? Because I'm trying to enjoy what's in front of me now. Now, I hate the Matt Hardy transformations, but the Lake of Reincarnation is his gimmick, so at least there's actual water and not an ice box.
And I love the matter of fact. The matter of fact that...
I was getting to that. That might have been my moment of the whole match of the night. The way to get around the Matt facts, which are probably still trademarked, with the matter of fact, was genius.
Very slick.
Was here for it, especially when it's my favorite, my only version of Matt Hardy I like. We got the V1 going. I'm here. I would give it an up if I was Simon.
Absolutely. And to also make note of that, and like to bring into like a little bit of comparison, Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer, he made this comparison when they talked about the matchup. This was a matchup that had a bunch of comedy spots in it. And especially this spot, they kind of structured it that it was supposed to be taken as a joke. It was very lighthearted. Whereas when I watched Edge and Orton, in a very serious matter. There was nothing comedy about it. They physically tried to kill each other with gym equipment. I immediately thought of Chris Benoit because it was something serious. It was presented in a serious atmosphere where the Chris Benoit documentary, Dark Side of the Ring, just came out about him harming himself in a serious matter, and these two are trying to harm themselves in a serious matter. So that's where I had the correlation. I did not have that correlation watching this because they presented it as a joke. It was very lighthearted.
I did. I had it. When Matt Hardy's laying there lifeless in the pool, I immediately think of Shad Gaspard, and I am like, yikes! You edited this! Edit that part out, and the segment is perfect. I don't care about, you see the underwater camera, that's fine. Everything else is fine. You do not need Matt Hardy laying there drowning. You could edit that out. I thought of it. I'm not proud of it. I don't want to think about it.
But touching on your WrestleMania analogy, see, I didn't even think about the Chris Benoit thing as the Edge and Orton match was happening.
I thought of that too.
Because I'm just in the moment. Like, I want to, when I tune into these 3 to 9 hour shows, depending on what we're watching, I suspend reality and what's going on in real life to watch these characters who we all agree and admit are characters. I don't think anybody's still with the it's still real to me thing going on, right? Bumps and bruises are real, but this is a show that we're watching, people. I want to be in the show, right? So anything in real life, anything that I'm going to get on my TMZ notification, out of my head, I'll deal with that later. I'll analyze that later. I want to live in the moment. And that segment was fantastic, as damn near everything in this, whatever this was.
Let's talk about some more parts of this match. How about that bar fight?
Oh, man. That might have been, no. It's my second favorite part of this whole matchup. It was like every buddy cop fucking movie that I've ever seen, where you got the big villain who comes in, you have the partner who is like been depressed and been off on his own. That he's at a bar, he's all depressed, and then the villain that they have been working together against comes into the bar. Hangman's like, you want a drink or are you here to fight? He pours the drink for him. What's the difference? And they start brawling. Hangman Page belongs in a cowboy western movie because you can tell he's prepared his whole life for this. He was rolling around like he was Jackie Chan on the pool table. He was avoiding the strikes of Jake Hager. He was just awesome during this. And then I know this was the dream of a lifetime, to be taken on the bar and dragged on the bar. Down the bar. I love Excalibur with the Big Valboski reference. the bar eight Hangman. Yes, indeed, yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. Second favorite segment of the Stampede. That was fantastic. The realization that everybody has of where to find Hangman is fantastic. They're just back there. There's a horse. Okay. Oh, there's a sign. There's a bar. It's got to be this way. He walks down this hall.
By the way, telling the horse stay. Very Red Dead Redemption like.
Right? Walk down to the bar, find him, sharing first of all, sitting down together, having a drink begrudgingly, like every buddy cop thing, whatever. And then just the fisticuffs, like every bar fight movie ever. I immediately thought of Ron White describing Roadhouse and bouncers beating off and having a bar fight, beating up each other. That was every part of that was amazing. Ouch to the freaking pool table spot, because I heard that thump that hurt me. That hurt to the watch.
That had to hurt. There's no safe way to do that one.
And don't forget the bottles of bubbly.
Right, but it was just all fantastic. Like I would have been happy with that or the Ortiz Santana Matt thing. The fact that I got them both back to back.
We didn't finish talking about that. How Matt took them both out by ringing
Yes.
the bell on Ortiz, and Ortiz getting convulsions, and him strapping him to the chair of wheels. The chair of wheels returned from the ultimate deletion in WWE, and he strapped him to that. He told him to take one of these and call him in the morning, and then threw Santana into the icebox to help him with his inflammation. Awesome
By the way,
booking
why
there.
is there a big ass bell in that stadium? I don't know.
It's every time the Jaguars get a touchdown, they ring the bell.
Oh.
Goes off, huh?
Huh?
So it never goes off. It's the first
Very
time I ever heard it.
very irregularly, yeah.
Matt Jackson with the 100-yard Northern Lights suplex on Sammy Guevara. Did you like that?
That was awesome. That was exactly what you thought of when he did the first one. You're like, oh, he's gonna do the multiple Northern Lights. Yo, imagine if he went 100 yards and then he gets to the 50. He gets to the 60. Oh my God, that was awesome. I love the toast at the end of the bar fight as well between Hangman and Omega, because of course Omega does not drink,
With
so
the milk.
he drinks his milk, and Hangman drinks his Henny with his milk. So nice, very
Yeah.
nice. And I love the off the back buckshot lariat. That was awesome. And then breaking multiple bottles of bubbly over the head of Jake Hager. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that buckshot lariat, I agree. As soon as I saw that first Northern Lights, I went, here we go. Here we freaking go. He's got hurt ribs, but because we got to get, the Flying Elvises over, we're going to do 100 of these all the way to the end zone. Ouch to Sammy Guevara taking all those bumps on his back. I know he only took like 6 of them for real, but still, ouch, just taking those.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oof.
I enjoyed the fact that they played up the football themes a couple of times in the Stampede. The first of which being with the touchdown celebration. They should never do it again.
He spiked Sammy's head.
Yeah.
And then he did the Alex Wright.
Yeah, that dance. Wow, he's white. Wow.
He did it on purpose. Come on.
He's so white. Like you are one of the Flying Elvises. How do you not have rhythm? I don't understand.
They're not the Flying Elvises. If you don't know, Marcus Cash has a weird hate of the Young Bucks. But I have to give it up for Matt Jackson. My God, like that moonsault off the goalpost. We knew somebody was gonna do a spot off the goalpost, but Matt Jackson with broken ribs and they barely catch you.
I'll give him that. I popped for that. That was dope. As much as I hated the 100 Northern Lights, I loved the goalpost moonsault.
Can I say my favorite part of the match?
What was your favorite part of the match?
Well, right before it, Jericho with a Judas effect on the Jaguars mascot. Did you catch the name of the mascot? I forgot what it was. Something stupid.
Jackie or something like that, or Jaggy?
Really something stupid. But anyway,
Jackson. It was Jackson.
Jackson DeVille or something?
Jackson DeVille, yes.
Awful name. But Jericho doing the pin, and then he gets a 2 count, and then he says he wants to challenge them. So Aubrey Edwards, they go under the hood, they check the replay. It's confirmed it was just a 2 count. I wouldn't have challenged it myself personally. Jericho says, "You're a shitty ref."
How many football coaches have said that to the referee?
Yeah. And the fact that he had the red flag ready, that was a great spot.
Great preparation.
That was all the football references, right, that they made in this. That being the other one, and or one of the other ones rather. And then right after that, Jericho ends up getting thrown into the net, and Aubrey goes, "It's good."
Yeah. What the hell? You can't do that. Come on.
That was fantastic.
Do your job, ref. Shitty ref.
It was
Nick throws footballs at Chris Jericho. Then Nick and Matt double team Chris, and that running down all those steps, springboard flash. And you would think that they would like do like the cutaway and like not have him actually do the spot,
Like the
and then cut
Velveteen Dream on Adam Cole's spot.
exactly the Velveteen Dream spot. But no, he really did a splash off the top of that the steps, the the stands. Ridiculous.
running down the steps because, oof, Elvis had one too many peanut butter sandwiches that morning because that speed that he had running down those steps. Woof. Woof.
And then Jericho gets painted on with the yard marker.
Absolutely. That was great.
And he kept it on him. He tweeted or
Took
something.
a picture.
Yeah. Like, way to commitment, Jericho.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Let's talk about the end of the match. Sammy Guevara crawling on the field, and then the sprinklers go off. Surprisingly, one right towards his balls. He stands up, and deja vu! The golf cart is back.
I
Hardy.
popped so much.
The same exact camera angle.
Popped so much for the golf cart. I was like, they had to bring it back. They had to. But Sammy he outran a horse, and he outran a golf cart. Sammy Guevara is the MVP of the Stadium Stampede.
As much as I hated the golf cart spot the first time, and I hated it, I thought it was nifty to bring it back as a callback with the camera angle, especially because now they played into it. They saw all their memes that they were with the pointing, and they was like, we're just going to lean all the way into it. So I appreciated that, the ability to make fun of yourself for that. Highlight for me is at no point did we have to see Sammy's feet again tonight during this match, because they have this new weird fetish with Sammy's feet where they want to take off a boot of his all the time, and I thought they were going to make him run through the arena with no shoes.
So it was only 2 matches. Sheesh, come on.
Sammy Lambo leaps to safety, and then we get the debut of a new drone, Neo 1. Did you guys catch what the Neo stands for?
Nature's electronic organism.
Sammy Guevara is eventually one-winged angel to death from a very high.
Had to be 20 feet in the air. I don't care if that was obvious, a crash pad with a board or something like above it, but my God, what a spot. What a spot. That was
if there was a crash pad there or whatever, it still looked cool.
That looked awesome. That was the way you end that spectacle, that outrageousness that we witnessed. And yes, we've emphasized throughout this whole review, there was wrestling matches on this card. And this was something different. But this was not only my match of the night, this might be my match of the year. This is 5 stars on any scale. I don't care about the new rating system that Marcus Cash has created. It's something from wrestling that makes you smile this much. It deserves 5 stars.
Yeah, I call it a match. I supremely fucked with it. I don't know what's more than supremely. Whatever that highest rung on that ladder, I fucked with it that much. I would say it was definitely the most fun segment of a wrestling program here. Maybe longer. Actually, probably longer. But yeah, definitely the most enjoyable. Not gonna call it a match. Can't do it. Can't fucking do it. But nonetheless, best thing to have watched, including wrestlers of the year.
Match of the year.
No, it's not a match.
Match of the year. You can say it. Match.
This wasn't my match of the night. This was my stampede of the night. This is the greatest stampede I've ever seen in my life, and it was definitely the best stampede on this show.
Wrestling is subjective. Matches can be in any type of environment now. You guys need to get with the 2020 way of living. You need to get on the cool kids wave, man. WWE's on it. AEW is on it. I'm sure New Japan and everyone else will be on it pretty soon. Cinematic matches are here, and we have to judge it the same way we judge professional wrestling matches. This is 5 stars.
I
No.
cannot rate this. This is heavily edited. This is not live. This isn't in the ring. I can't. I can't rate it. But I loved it.
Great. A lot of love. Not deserving of stars because it wasn't a match. But it was fantastic nonetheless.
Do you guys have a match of the night that was in the ring? Mine, personally, I am going to go with Sheeta versus Rose.
I said it before. The Young Lions, pun slightly tattooed, intended. MJF and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, whose name they still can't figure out, or JR refuses to figure out.
JR.
Match of the night. The match of the year. The Stadium Stampede.
That was in the ring. The other match of the night that was in the ring.
Stampede.
In the ring.
Stadium Stampede.
I think it was MJF Jungle Boy. I think he said earlier.
Stadium Stampede is the match of the night. I will not let you disintegrate the great pride of this YouTube channel by disgracing and not giving it the praise it deserves. It is the match of the night. You can try to loophole it as much as you want. It deserves to be called that.
Definitely Stampede of the night. LVP, anyone? I'm going Sean Spears.
LVP, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Sean Spears, like there was no one that I said more that I was like, damn, why? Like this was not an upgrade for you coming here. This is it. You're at least on TV. I will give you that. That's the
Went
only
from a perfect 10 to a 4.4.
Yeah, I was trying in my head to justify Penelope Ford because I was very disappointed. I was also trying to justify Marco Stunt because fuck him entirely. Fuck all of them. I know it's not going to take long. But, Sean Spears. Because I expect so much more from Sean Spears. I hold still Sean Spears in such a higher regard. I think it's degrading to him to have to deal with Dustin and deal with this eternal jobber status that he has. I don't know if that's part of his deal and his contract or what, but I think we could do a lot more, and I'm hoping his news network leads to that.
And MVP of the night, I am going to go Hikaru Shida. Who are you guys going to go?
I think you mentioned it earlier, maybe in passing. I think Sammy Guevara. I think they highlighted Sammy Guevara fantastically by doing away with the other 4 members of the circle and having this 5-on-1 chase and beat down and hype for Sammy. I think that was a great way to put him over as another one of that class of the future of the young AEW.
Since I didn't play along with your match of the night trying to loophole and not give the Stadium Stampede the credit it deserves, I won't give Sammy Guevara MVP because he was the MVP of the match of the night. But the MVP of the night, I will go with co-MVPs. I agree with you, Hikaru Shida deserves credit, but my co-MVP firstly goes to Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose does not get enough credit for how she has been one of the MVPs of the women's division, and she has been, regardless of how you feel about her being in the women's division, she has been one of the MVPs of that division. And the other co-MVP is someone else who won't get a lot of credit, Brody Lee, because the point of him being in the world title match tonight, on that night, was to prove that he can be a main eventer, and he proved that. So Brody Lee deserves co-MVP.
Fair. I like your reasonings. It's fair.
I think we all give this show a unanimous thumbs up.
Oh, yeah.
Thumbs up all the way.
On a scale of 1 to 10, do you guys want to do that?
Sure, I give on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this a 7. This would have been a lot higher because of the stadium stampede and the great matches like we've all like praised about in the ring with MJF versus Jungle Boy, Sheeta versus Nyla Rose, Brody versus Moxley, as well as the Casino ladder match. There was a lot of great wrestling and entertainment on this night, but it was a little bit drunk down by the middle portion with Cody and Archer not living up to expectations. Ford versus Statlander not being up to par, and then Shawn Spears and Dustin being the worst match of the night. I think that dragged down the card a little bit, but 7 out of 10. This was a really good show.
I have your same reasonings. I'm still gonna give it 8.25. If we're gonna do that, because as much as I dislike that middle three, which is a weird back middle three, I loved everything else so much that it kind of compensated, if that makes sense. Like, I really enjoyed that ladder match. I don't think I gave it enough credit. I don't know if we did in general. I really enjoyed that ladder match. I loved the Stampede for whatever that was. I loved the MJF match. I loved the Sheeta Nyla match. Um, I wasn't terribly bored to tears with the Brody Moxley match. Wasn't exactly my cup of tea, but I enjoyed what came of it and how it went down. Um, and I enjoyed all those things so much. I think it carried the show to at least an 8.
How about you, Romeo?
I was a little more generous. I gave this an 8.3. I liked the Archer Cody match much more than you guys did, despite the repeated Mike Tyson camera angles. I want to say that between the opener and the main event, I thought 4 of the 6 matches were really good, pretty damn good, and that's amazing considering that the opener and the main event had a combined 19 people of their roster. So on a normal pay-per-view, those guys are going to be spread out into matches. You've got almost like your best guys in 2 matches only, sort of Royal Rumble like. A lot of guys delivered to me. There was a big spotlight on Brody, Archer, Jungle Boy, Rose, Sheeta. Big spotlight on those performers, and they delivered to me. And I want to say lastly that the wrestling community needed this pay-per-view after the week they had with Kimura, Shad, and the Dark Side of the Ring on Owen Hart. It's very, very depressing week for the wrestling community, and I think AEW delivered.
Yeah, thank you so much to AEW, All Elite Wrestling, professional wrestling fans. We definitely needed this after the week that we had. Like I said, the Stadium Stampede after a week of losing Chad, losing Hana Kimura, that very same morning I kind of found out about it, or the day before found out about it. And the Owen Hart Dark Side of the Ring, like Romeo mentioned, all of those things to kind of bring us down, make us depressed, make us sad about being in the wrestling family, the wrestling community. We needed that pick me up, and that's what Double or Nothing was. Double or Nothing, more than anything, was the great distraction and the escape from the reality of being quarantined and everything else going on in the world that we needed right now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit the nails on the head. I can't really add much to that. I don't think I would have made those correlations to real life stuff. I just would have said we needed that pay-per-view after the pay-per-views that had preceded it in general, which were not as fantastic. But there was the last one right before that, Money in the Bank.
I mean, we gave that a thumbs up, I believe.
Yeah, but just, it wasn't great. It was good. It was decent. It was enjoyable.
This was great.
This was great, and we needed a great pay-per-view, and it's been a while since we had a great pay-per-view all-encompassing. So, yeah.
And the Stadium Stampede is a spectacle we will always remember. We will never forget. And I believe Tony Khan said he is open to more of those in the future.
I'm down. I want to see more.
It's something they're gonna have to do now. This was so popular. I'm waiting to hear I'm gonna be like Marcus Cash this weekend. I'm gonna listen to Jim Cornette because I want to hear the other side of it, because it's been so much praise for this matchup. A Stadium Stampede, thank you, because I really needed a reason to kind of smile. Besides my family and my kids, I needed a reason to smile outside of that, especially when it came to wrestling. And the Stadium Stampede, more than anything, it did that.
That Stampede for sure is going to be. I don't know if they're already open, but when they have those forums for the AEW video game open, that is going to be the one thing everybody's like, that's their GM mode. Like, we want a Stampede match in the game. So.
And looking forward, we have Fyter Fest coming up. We're going to get more details on Wednesday, but so far confirmed Brian Cage versus Moxley for the AEW World Championship.
I'm okay with that. I guess you couldn't do the he can cash in his tips whenever he wants angle. I guess they can't do that, or just didn't want to do that. I'm okay with that. I rather though have Taz announce when he was gonna do it. If they had to announce it and not just do it randomly, I would have liked it better if it was their decision having won the poker chip when they wanted to do it, whether it is this Wednesday on Dynamite, at Fyter Fest, at All Out, whatever, versus Tony Khan just going, yeah, he won, so this is what's going to happen. And he just does it as like a throwaway moment on like the media scrum thing after the show.
I mean, I like that. I like that. It builds anticipation for Fyter Fest. Fyter Fest was something that I didn't even know they were going to do. I was thinking the next big show for them was All Out. I thought they were going to skip Fyter Fest because of the circumstances, but I like the fact that we're getting something extra in between the build up to All Out. And I feel like Moxley versus Cage is a very strong main event to have there. And I'm very interested in the build up to it, because I believe Taz as the heel manager will be a great adversary for Moxley on the mic.
And one more piece of news, Fyter Fest, Tony Khan said, was supposed to be in London. It's supposed to be AEW's London debut. And of course, circumstances got in the way of that.
That's so sad. I know for our UK fans, I know you guys would love to see AEW live, because it's one of the best live experience for professional wrestling fans. So hopefully after all of this is done, they reschedule this and they have their London debut.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I know that time difference is gonna be weird for us here, but that's a selfish point of view. I know they've been clamoring for, what was the last UK pay-per-view? What, Insurrection or something like that?
No, I guess you could technically say Takeover London.
Okay. But not kind of like NXT UK's, in terms of like big companies. So a long time coming. Obviously they have that in because they do business there. So I think that was perfect. I'm a little sad that it didn't happen. I'm a little bit more sad that he just now seems like a wow, yeah, this is what it was supposed to be and it couldn't work out. We'll see about that. I think that's a good enough surprise that you could have kept it under wraps, even though plans screwed it up, where you kept it under wraps, and then when things are ready, you can go, hey, as soon as this plague is over, London, here we come.
You don't know, so you rather say that, and then it's gonna make the London fans be like, okay, so when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? They're gonna be anticipating it more. I get why Tony Khan announced it then. He also announced that Dr. Goat, Britt Baker, is gonna be out for 6 to 8 weeks, not 6 to 8 months as previously rumored and reported. So thank God for that.
Yes, and fuck that doctor. Okay? Because she is not worth the diagnosis herself. Damn him. First off, your medical opinion is about her knee, not her character. That is outside of your job scope. Sampson should be relieved.
What a jerk.
He should be relieved of his duties immediately for his lack of professionalism. I
agree. Strongly agree.
Email out to Tony Khan. I'm going to tweet him and make this public.
Start a petition?
Okay. I'm going to start a petition because that was completely out of line. It was classless. It was baseless. And AEW is above characters like that. And I was thoroughly disappointed with them as a brand because of him.
Yeah.
I just want you to, take this one portion and just share this. Share this, and then we can put it on Twitter. We can put it on everywhere, and tag Tony Khan and All Elite Wrestling.
It will be done. It will
and our Dr. Goat, Britt Baker.
Yes, I agree.
Great. So Marcus Cash, any plugs for All Elite recap before we exit out?
Yeah, I'm half of the show, sometimes a third of it, but All Elite Recap, sometimes stylized as AE Recap, on the YouTube channel. You can find it here on your True Heel Network. Um, Jimmy Macram, who has his own channel, is usually by my side. SP3 fills in from time to time. On a selfish note, because we've established that I'm the star of the show. Sorry, Anik J. I have my own YouTube channel launching. It's created now. If you want to subscribe in advance, content will be coming June 2020, after my MacBook actually gets here. It will be at My Battery is Dying, because that's the only thing not taken on YouTube.
Subscribe. But subscribe after this.
That user handle works for everything. So just look for me on everything at My Battery is Dying. Cash App included.
Yes, he just plugged his Cash App. Yes, he did. Romeo, any plug for True Rewind?
Yes, True Rewind. You're gonna see episode 4 dropping either tonight or tomorrow. The Monday Night War, Raw and Nitro. Don't let us suffer alone. Come on, watch with us. Let's talk about it. Let's go back in time and suffer together. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Pride of NYC.
And we'll also be back with our Undertaker The Last Ride review in 2 weeks' time when Chapter 4 comes out June 14th. So we'll be back with that. You can also check out all of our Dark Side of the Ring reviews for Season 2. And we'll be back with Season 1 reviews coming up this week as well. So another reminder, if you enjoyed this video, push that like button, smash that like button. We love these longer reviews to kind of talk about everything going on in professional wrestling, especially coming out of these big pay-per-views. So these pay-per-view roundtables will be something that we will be doing going further. So guys, are we going to be back with WWE Backlash pay-per-view roundtable?
Oh, I have to, because it's the greatest match of all time. It's the greatest match ever. I have to.
The greatest wrestling match of all time.
Of all time.
It's not a stampede. It's not a stampede, Sid.
Oh, Charlie, you're cute. Don't talk.
We just saw the greatest cinematic match of all time. So for Backlash, we will see the greatest wrestling match ever as Edge goes one-on-one with Randy Orton. So join us back for our next pay-per-view roundtable as we discuss that. And push that subscribe button. Push the bell to stay notified. Help us along this journey as we're about to reach 500 subscribers. Like Marcus Cass said before, subscribe to his YouTube channel. My Battery is Dying, as well. You could be the first, as well as Jimmy Macaram's channel. So, as always, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been the new rating system, Marcus Cash, the connoisseur of all reporting, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon. Once again, push that like button, push the subscribe button for more True Hill Heat. We are signing off for AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view roundtable. Until next time.